Hello friends, thanks for tuning in this clarification session. I am Seema here again and today we are going to explore data models. So some of you may be aware that since last clarification session I am discussing with you various tools and techniques related to requirement modeling. I started with the scope models where we learned that how the different features, functions, relationship between them, boundaries are explored using different tools and techniques like SWOT analysis, fishbone diagram, context diagram, ecosystem map, etc. Then I took clarification session for the process models where we explored that how different processes are executed to achieve goals and objectives. Then I dig with you the business rules which needs to be there in the solution, and these rules may be part of more than one project. So afterwards, it is time to look at the various data which are related to your system, and for the same I'm going to present the requirement models. So I will take questions as soon as I will finish the presentations. You can post your queries in the question box, and then I will pick questions which are already posted in the forum for this clarification session. That is the usual format of our clarification session. But friends, there is a twist today. We are having Akanksha Ashar with us. She has cleared her PMI-PBA exam on 5th of December and she is here to discuss with you, to share her exam success story, because I do believe that success comes from sharing. And you can ask your doubts which you would like to discuss with someone who has recently passed the exam. So I'm starting the agenda of data modeling first. As usual, whenever I'm discussing about any requirement models, I start with the a brief of requirement models, and then today I will discuss the data models in detail. Friends, today I will try to be short because the main agenda of this clarification session to discuss more about how to crack the exam at the earliest possible time. So let's define the requirement models. Briefly explain that when we are analyzing our requirements, there should be a visual way to know your different requirements, different level of requirements, so that your stakeholders can see them, can visualize the actual requirements, and they can provide their input. Because if your requirements are in long textual format, they will miss something and they will not be able to identify any extraneous or missing information. How to present the requirement models? As I said, that these are the visual representations. These can be represented through the diagrams, tables, and structured text, and it gives a simplicity in the system. When we start identification of requirement, we start from the scope models, because first we need to see the features and functions at high level, and then we move to the processes, how different processes are flowing in the system, and how we are executing different steps to achieve our objectives. And then we see that how in different rules are embedded in these processes, which are part of at the organization level many of the time. Then the data models, where we look into the data which are related to the system, and the interface model which assist in understanding about the specific system and their relationship within a solution. So data models in detail. According to the Business Analysis Practice Guide, these are the models that document the data used in a process or system and its life cycle. In data model, we describe how business logical data relate with each other, what kind of information we can store, and there are various tools and techniques which by which we can visualize, we can see the data in our system and how they are flowing. So let's look at these tools and technique. The first is entity relationship diagram. It is the oldest tool which can be used in identifying the data of the system. It may be a first step where we are exploring different entities, and these are the conceptual piece of data. These entities could be related to the people, places, things and concepts that the business cares about. And when we have identified the different entities in the system, we see that how these entities are related to each other, and that relationship is known as cardinality or and we see that what is the multiplicity there, like for any entity how many instances are related to the other entity. Like a customer may be related to more than one order, so one customer related to many orders. That kind of relationship we can visualize using entity relationship diagram. Here is the snapshot from the business analysis practice guide. Relationship types like association, we can say that optional one, that one entity from the on the left side is related to the right side, and there could be relationship that may be a optional. There may not be any relationship. Optional meaning mandatory one. For example, for a valid order, there should be at least one item. Mandatory many, like a customer should define at least 3 delivery methods. So these are the association example, and here you can see the different notations. Single cardinality, 0 to n means the none up to many cardinality, or 0 to 1 none, or single cardinality, like that. So entity relationship diagrams, here is the example taken from the business analysis practice guide, where customer may have 0 or more recipes. This is the customer entity. We have identified 4 entities related to the recipe box, item, store, customer and recipe. Here the customer is associated with the recipe, and 0 to n is the relationship or cardinality type. Means the customer may have 0 or more recipes and able to obtain one store for a given recipe. Here is a 1. So customer will be able to obtain from one store information from one store for a given recipe. Here the relationship between store and item is the 1 to n, and from here item to store 1 to n. Means a particular item is associated with a particular store. So here we are identifying the entities and what are the relationship type among these entities, and how many instances are related to each other entities. So these data objects can be traced to data flow diagram, ecosystem map, because when we are analyzing ecosystem map, we are exploring the high level system and relationship between them. And these also can be traced to the data dictionaries and state transition models. Today we are going to discuss data flow diagrams and data dictionaries and state transition models, because these are also part of the data models. So data flow diagram. Here we are looking at the interaction between different actors like customer and processes and databases. Means a actor perform a process and get some data. So the customer interaction trigger the flowing of the data. Here customer is selecting the store, and this store and a map is coming to him, and when customer is selecting a store database, this is the symbol of database. The store database gives the information of store, And then this store number goes to the mapping of the stored geospatial data executed, and map information, store map information is delivered to this process. And then a select recipe gives the select recipe items to this mapping of data. So here we are looking at the interaction between the system, actors, and data. And the data flow diagram identify data inputs and output for processes. Means here you can see that for this process, recipe item is the input, and this map store is providing output map with item cover, what items are available at that map location. So this is the important data model tool which uh, communicate information about that what data flows as a result of an interaction. Data dictionary, here we see a data element in detail. Information like uh, what is the ID, field description, and data type, and valid values. And this kind of information helps programmers to code the things correctly, because it is giving them correct information, correct rules, validation rules, which needs to be applied. And it doesn't mean that all the whatever data flow diagram and in entity relationship diagram and data dictionary we are using map to the physical database. Here we are analyzing the data, and as a business analyst, and then this information is used as an input to develop, to design your database as per their own rules. So here we show the few attributes for the recipe, store, and items, and business rules may be described in data dictionary. And for example, you can see that store number 3 is a 3-digit number that is required to be positive and one of the valid store numbers. So you can see that when we are moving towards the different models, we are refining our requirements. When we are at the scope models, we were at the higher level. Then we moved towards the interactions. We started to see our processes. Then we started to see our rules. And now we are looking at the data which needs to be associated with our system. So here, using these different models, our requirements becoming more and more specific. State table and state diagram, these two tools represent the same information in different format. State table in the tabular format and diagram in the diagram format. So whenever we interact in the system, there could be many objects, and these objects have their life cycle. In that case, we can represent that information using state table and state diagram. If there is due to some event, there is a transition between these states, then we need to show those transitions. And when we represent this information using diagram or table, it helps us to keep all the transitions in our requirements. It helps us that we are not going to miss any transition that is part of the life cycle of any object. For example, you are creating a document. Yeah, the life cycle of creating a document, that you create a draft, then you review, either you reject, or you may publish it, and then after some time it expired. So here the we can see here draft, when it is drafted, so it is not applicable. The reviewer reviews it, and it is not applicable. When it is in drafted state, it is not applicable. It is not expired, is also not applicable. When you are reviewed, then it may be rejected or it may be published. When it is rejected, so it is resubmitted as a draft. It moved back to the draft, and then if it is published, then after 120 days it is expired. And when it is expired, author audits expired recipe. So same information we can represent in the state diagram. It is draft. After draft, there is a transition of reviewed. Then when it is reviewed, it is published, or it may be rejected, and it moves to the draft again. When it is published after 120 days, it is expired, and then after expiry of any document or any recipe, author edits the expire recipe. So summary is, so data models define how data is connected to each other, and in data modeling we analyze data requirements needed to support the business. So now friends, now to look at the questions, if you have posted any related to the data modeling. No question? So I'm waiting. If you ask any question related to data models, then I will pick the questions which are posted in the forum for this clarification session. First question is posted by the Drashti. Drashti is here. Yes, Drashti is here. She's asking that I'm going through traceability and monitoring chapter. Can you please describe difference between CMS and VCS and its uses? Drashti, can you provide me the information from your question box that have you gone through the videos of your learning material, or you are just going through from the business analysis practice guide right now? Can you give me this information?
Hello?
Yes, Drashti.
Hello?
I'm asking that have
Yeah.
you gone through the videos on traceability and monitoring?
Okay. For this, I have gone through the books material currently.
Mm-hmm.
So I have quietly confused between CMS and VCS users.
Okay, so you have
We are
not gone
used to.
through the videos, right?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, sorry. I was muted. I forgot. Okay. I'm explaining again. Uh, Drashti, first
Okay.
you need to know that what is the configuration management system. Configuration management system is used
Hello?
to maintain. Uh,
I'm not,
you are not able to
I
hear
can't
me?
listen your voice, Seema.
Sorry?
I can't listen your voice.
Oh, I'm not audible.
Yeah, now you are audible.
Okay. First, you need to know what is the configuration management system. It is directly related to the requirement management. And here is this PDF which is available in your study material, that it is a specialized
Okay.
requirement management tool, and it helps us to maintain the integrity of our documents and artifacts. First, you need to know that which
Yeah.
all artifacts you need to manage under configuration management system. Like you develop requirement management plan, uh, risk register, issue log, and business analysis plan. Many documents are there. Some are formally maintained, some are maintained informally. So first you need to know that which all items are configurable for your system, and that is configuration management system is directly linked with your requirement traceability matrix. It helps to manage large number of requirements.
Yeah.
So and the version control system is part of the configuration management system. Configuration management system is a big umbrella,
Yeah, that
and
okay.
version system is within that configuration management system. For example, if you are using a document, all should refer the same version of the document that is maintained and ensured by the configuration management system. It configuration management system could be complex based on your system. It could be a simple, like you are maintaining your configuration management system by providing a good name, like this is the name of the document created on so and so date, etc. So it depends on the complexity of the
Hmm.
system. So and for the exam point of view, on the PMI-PBA, this information is more than sufficient,
Okay.
and I have added a clarification session. I have taken the clarification session, and you can listen it. And this document is available in the traceability and monitoring um, chapter. And I have also included a video here, but this video is very in detail, and that much information is not required for your PVA. This video is related for the PMP, but for if you are willing to go in detail, you can go through this video. So is it clear to you?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so next question is from Soria. I think, yes, he's there. I started training for PMI-PBA a couple of weeks ago through the videos by Mr. Saket. I found the videos extremely useful. However, I will need your guidance on exam preparation. Please let me know. If no, concentrate on anything other than videos and quizzes provided. If you can provide me exam preparation route map, it will be very helpful. Yes, this is the main agenda of this clarification session. First, Akanksha will discuss about her exam success journey. Maybe you will get your answers, and then I will also help you to get the answer of this question. I'm taking this next question because Akanksha is here to discuss all these things. The next question from Drishti is how to differentiate smoothing and collaborating situation in conflict management. Okay, yes, conflict management is part of the video in the study material because human resource management.
Yes, I have gone through that. I have gone through that.
So is it clear to you?
I have gone through that, Seema.
Okay.
For today only, I have gone through that smoothing and that collaborating situation in conflict management. But quietly confused between that then because if some situation arises, how can you know? How can I determine this is a smoothing and this is a collaborating?
Okay. Uh, Basically, whenever we use conflict management technique, we need to
Hmm.
see that what is the team stage. If it is in forming stage or it is in storming stage, means if team members are not sharing their ideas with each other, means they are not collaborating, right? Means what is the stage?
Okay.
If they are in storming stage, you need to support them to bring them for the work, for the goal. So if smoothing is used when the relationship is important to, and it is a temporary solution, it's not a good solution for means it's not a long-term solution. Here in smoothing means we are discussing about that what are the agreed points, and we are overlooking the differences, because right now we are avoiding the tough discussions. Okay. And when we
Yeah.
are using the collaborating conflict management technique, it means disagreements are there, but they are constructive disagreement. Means If we talk with the facts with each other, means we are collaborating. Differences are sometimes good,
Okay.
but if we are going through with the differences of opinion, and we are asking that, okay, you are saying this, what is the reason behind it? You are saying this, what is the reason behind it? So different facts are coming from different people, and they are understanding each other, and what is the suitable for the situation, they are both agree to go with that solution, because they are aware that I think why we are together, and they are uh, collaborating with each other. So that's the difference. I think
Okay.
is it clear to you?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, fine, friends. I have taken the questions. So Akanksha, I'm making you presenter, so you will be able to share your screen.
Yes, Seema.
Have you received the message?
Sorry, which message? On the in the box? Something you're
Yeah,
referring to?
I have made you the presenter, so now you can show whatever you want to share with our participants today. Yes, I can see now.
Yeah, sure.
I can see.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. So, hi everyone, this is Akanksha Ashar. As Seema already introduced me, so I would just like to share a few things for your upcoming exams and wish you all the best. So, I think this will definitely help you. So, I have, these are just random topics and things what I would like to share. This is not complete comprehensive PMI-PBA exam, but these are definitely some like directions which will definitely help you with your exam. Okay, so just starting with it, here's the agenda. A few things which I'll be discussing is key rules, study plan, assessment strategy, last minute preparations, and a few topics domain wise. Okay, starting with the key rules for PMI-PBA exam. So first thing is do not memorize. So there is no need to memorize any of the things or the concepts, or like you are studying the definitions or something, but it is very important that you understand every sentence, every word you are reading it. So the first level of way of studying will be to understand what you are reading and what topics you are coming across each of the PMI-PBA domain. And the next level of study will be the regarding the comparative study. So that is more related to the activities, the phases, the processes. So this will be part like this will come into picture when you are going through the PMI-PBA reference book and the PIMBOK, which is more process oriented. So this will give you a good idea where these things come into picture and which processes. So this is very important because in PMI-PBA exam, there are scenario based questions. Like most of the questions will be scenario based. So if you don't understand the context, if you don't understand the project life cycle or in which phase you are, so these things you will not be able to crack that. And it is very important to understand and do those comparative study during while you are going through these materials. So I have emphasized on comparative studies, so you can connect all the key points like between PMI PBA and PIMBOK. Okay. Next is the study plan. Now this will, these are just guidelines. This will definitely depend like on individuals, like how many times you would like to refer. But I just have few things, the way I followed it, which worked for me. So these are like the classroom videos. I think classroom videos should be the first thing to be referred. Like first round of like going to like understanding, the first step towards understanding any topic will be going through the classroom videos. The next will be like at the end of these videos when you chapter and ends, so that time you will have these quizzes. So this will give you a good idea what kind of questions might come. So you may emphasize more on the scenario based. Again, there also, now there will be more variations to the scenarios which will be coming in the exams. Definitely it won't be the same, but if you grasp the context and the basic understanding behind that question, it will help you to crack the questions which are in the exams. The next is the clarification sessions. So these sessions are very important. As you understand, these are live sessions with Seema. She is like, she has immense knowledge about each of these domains, and she can answer you at that point immediately, or she can take you to a reference which you might not connect so easily, like which page of a book, or like, which video would help you. So this is very important. Like if you talk about it during the, and post your queries in these sessions, and like, talk about it during the sessions, it will definitely help you, because interaction, it will make you remember things, it will make you understand it well, rather than just reading and understanding in the passive mode all the time. So this will be a good chance, like fortnightly, when Seema, you will have the opportunity to interact with Seema. So I think this really helped me also. So I will recommend every one of you to be very active on this. The next is, definitely you will have to refer at least these two references which are recommended by PMI-PBA, the practice guide and the PMBOK. Now for practice guide, I would say it is mandatory, but for PMBOK, I would say it is recommended, not mandatory as such, because the iZenBridge videos, if you go through them and if you have understood the basic concepts, then it is okay not to go through PMBOK all topics. Like also there is one more blog which has been written by iZenBridge, which like states what topics are important from PMBOK, that will help you to, like, shorten the scope for PMBOK, because otherwise it becomes difficult to go through each of these topics. The next is assessments. Assessments are important because you need to get some real feel of the exam, and you should build endurance for the exam, also tone your mind, like for answering these questions quickly. So the more assessments you give, you will be more trained, your mind will be more trained to read these questions quickly, understand these questions quickly, conclude these questions during the exam time. So exam time is like, I think it is sufficient enough to complete the exam, but without the assessment, like rigorous practice in the assessments, it will not be really possible to complete the exam on time.
Akanksha,
Also there is this link which yeah.
Akanksha, sorry to disturb. Can you open this blog so the people can have an idea about? Yes, please open.
Yes, sure. Okay. So since we are on the iZenBridge portal, there are many blogs here, so you may just visit, it will be definitely helpful. So this is on the PMI-PBA study plan. So this is the high level chart wherein you can understand, like understanding the basis and basic business analysis domains and mastering it, then practicing these exams, and like judging your performance in these assessments. Like it will give you a good confidence, like when you are ready to give these exams. So I think if you go through this blog, it will be very helpful, and like there can be definitely some variations to it. So you can, like judge yourself, like what and how much is needed. Based on that, you can follow this as the outline and just proceed while for planning to this PMI-PBA exam. Okay. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Yeah, so this is the assessment strategy. Now, how should you go and like appear for these assessments which are there? So you should not just go and appear or give these assessment exams which are there in the iZenBridge material, just like without preparing for it. It doesn't really make sense. So what I would suggest is this, just outline like the strategy of how you should go about it. So which is like you should plan the number of attempts which you are looking forward to, at least, like considering your time, your understanding on the domain, your exposure for in your career or this current profession which you are in. So these all things matter. So the number of attempts you are looking at domain wise and the full exams, then the exam dates when you are planning to give these exams. Based on that, you should create a plan and how many exams you are planning to give, and like what would be the dates when you want to appear. So you should be ready before those dates, like on those dates, to sit and give your exams, these assessments. So these assessments, okay, then next is prepare. So preparing will be definitely you start with the videos, the clarification sessions, then these reference books. Then one more is like the forum, which is available for posting questions, and a lot of knowledge is available there. So any question or any confusion usually you have, there are mostly the questions which arises are differences between, or what is the difference between, or how it is different, and such kind of things will come. How should you be able to conclude in different scenarios where there are similar type of things. So there this forum helps a lot, and there are a lot of blogs on it and threads which will quickly help you resolve your small doubts instead of waiting and for these sessions sometimes. So forums are very immediate solution to any confusion which you are facing while studying. And before every assessment which you give, you should prepare, you should go through, you should do some revision at least before appearing for these assessments. And okay, and the next is execute, which is giving these exams on your planned dates. So this will definitely help. Otherwise, it might happen that you are already approaching your exam dates and you have not given or not even attempted few exams in the iZenBridge material. So your few things are initial rounds. You should definitely go and read all clarifications for each of the questions which are provided, because that will build your correct understanding. Then in the after first or second rounds, like you should note down certain questions which are unclear to you, which you were not confident while selecting the options. So those question numbers you should note down, and so you should go through those questions as well as the wrong ones. The next is the sometimes why I'm saying to note down these questions, because you might be clicking certain answer which might end up as correct one, but you don't have the actual context or the actual understanding for those questions, and those answers might be just by fluke. So it is very important to understand what was the clarification behind each of these options which were actually applicable for that question. Okay, the next is the final rounds. You may be more confident about each of the questions which might have appeared, and you should at least check the wrong ones and go through the clarifications which are provided there. So this assessment has all types of questions which will come in your exams, and all the clarifications are very good for understanding and cracking the or any kind of scenario based questions which appear in your exam. And definitely the what I'm showing here is the assess. So you should keep on assessing, when you're planning, when you're preparing, are you still on the plan, are you still observing the dates which you have planned? How, depends how close you are to your goal. So it is very important to cross check. So I would relate this sort of a diagram which I have here, which came to me because of PMBOK. In PMBOK you have these monitoring and controlling processes. So I think a lot of skills and everything will improve when you give these exams. So this is you should always keep on monitoring and checking every time when you are in process of achieving certain goal. So this will definitely help you. So there can be variations definitely, but you should follow some of these things. These are very generic things what I have listed here. It will definitely help you. The next is usually people have a lot of questions like what should I refer on the last day, like what will be my last 1 week preparations. So there might be scenarios like you have ideally gone through complete material, attempted a lot of assessments, exams and all, but you're during preparing, I would recommend you should go through these, revise these glossary things, because sometimes you forget the concepts totally for certain things and it might confuse you in the exam. So glossary is important. You will not get direct questions, but it is important to create your understanding and those making you familiar with the concepts and all. So that is important. Also any unclear topics which you feel which you cannot recollect much the details in it, then you should definitely go back and check in your last week. The next is iZenBridge forum, which has a lot of different sections like the open forum. Then there are exam prep questions, then tips and tricks. Then there are these exclusive webinars which were conducted earlier, which you might have not attended. So those are good links to just going through random topics, improving your understanding, revising a few topics, exploring what kind of questions some people have posted there. So this is a good thing to do, and I think forum, like if you try to cover as much as possible, it will be a very good revision in your last 1 week. Then during your preparation, mostly during when you're watching videos, I would recommend you to write certain notes, like some important things what you would just note down, like whenever you are in a classroom kind of setup, you definitely people note down certain things. It might not be complete comprehensive things, but it will be some like topics or things like some key points or something. So those will be helpful when you want to revise things. So when you keep these notes, it will be helpful in your last week. So you might just jump onto those topics, and it will be a good checklist for you to go and check those set of those shortlisted topics or like concepts which you would like to go back and revise for yourself. Next, on the last day of the exam or 1 day before, like I would say, you should take definitely good sleep, relax, stay confident, trust yourself and your hard work. So it is because this 4 hours of exam is like, it tests your endurance, and you need to be very fresh while you are attempting that exam, so you can consciously understand every other scenario coming in. So imagine there are at least 180 scenarios which comes to you, and you have to understand, analyze, and then select those answers. So it is very important that you have a good sleep, you are very fresh, and you have that endurance built by giving these assessments. And like you should be very quick in during these exams, because certain scenarios might be very difficult, and you might need more time to understand and assess those questions. Okay. Moving on to the PMI domain wise, so rule of thumb. So some important things here. These are some things which I just recollected from the exam and which helped me, because I had those connections in my mind to understand the different situations which were appearing in my exam questions. Okay, so this is need assessment. So it is very important. Sometimes you might get confused between the situation statement, business need, gap analysis. So, and in what sequence they are built in the need assessment domain. So here I've just listed few points, which is like the need situation statement is the first thing which will be built. Then comes the business need. Then we might proceed with the gap analysis, the investment appraisals. Investment appraisals including the like basic like cost benefit analysis, but not exactly cost benefit analysis, because cost benefit analysis will be a detailed one. So the feasibility analysis, so considering the time, scope, and these kind of constraints with respect to the options available. So these are all important, and these all will go into a business case, so which will be the final output of the need assessment domain. And there will be scenarios like what will be your output, what are you trying to build, you have these kind of information available, what are you trying to build. So such kind of questions will appear in your exams. So you need to understand and logically map everything in your mind to actually correct those questions. Okay, so the next is like understanding these components of situation statement. This also helps, because sometimes they might give you certain few statements, and you might have to analyze which is the best situation statement, or which is the best formatted situation statement or something. So you need to understand the impact of, effect of, what are the key components of a situation statement. So when you break up, are these all things covered in that statement or not, which would define it to be a situation statement. So these components are important, so that you can, if you remember it, then you will be able to so understand and like connect to it basically. So it is PMI-PBA is completely applying your understanding in the exam, because in your actual day-to-day life also you will be like this remembering these things might not really help you, but actually applying these things will be your actual skill going forward. Okay, so same thing PMI-PBA will test you on. So I've given a good reference of PMI-PBA need assessment. from the forum. So this link has a very good summarization of need assessment topic. So when you go to the need assessment chapter, it might be too much overwhelming sometimes because it has a lot of things and what you don't remember the sequence sometimes. So I think going through this link, it will definitely help you. It has completely kind of a mind map or thing which has, like, you know, it the entire domain, how it works, how it flows, what are the activities performed is flows through. It has a very good representation. This forum link which is available here. I would definitely recommend you to go through this.
Open it. Akanksha,
Next is,
open that link
yeah,
and
yeah,
provide me
sure.
here so I can share all with all the participants.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Share me the link with the chat window.
Yeah, okay. This was, I was performing this search and like I just got this link. I'll just share it with you. Okay. So now here you can see how these like, you know, complete mind map of all the topics and everything is made up here. So there are list of definitely there is a lot of content here. So but you will be able to relate to each of these topics very clearly in this block. And this is very logically done, so it is very easy to understand what is the contents of this need assessment domain. A few more things here. These are the different steps and all, different capabilities and what will be the outcome of these, and everything is listed here. Going back to the slides. So next is business analysis planning. Few important things here which just came to me. Stakeholder management or engagement. Then this is communication management, then project life cycle and lessons learned versus retrospective. So these, like, you know, project life cycle is very important. Like any other like, you know, question you get, for any scenario which you get, you need to understand what kind of a project life cycle is being used, so that you can answer your questions like accordingly, because sometimes there are certain terminologies like product owner or something like that. So you need to understand if it is adaptive or if it is not. So based on that you need to select your answers, because if you don't assess that, then your answer might go wrong, because it might be a agile environment and you end up answering something which is generic, or vice versa. Also lessons learned and retrospective. There were certain questions like, you know, you might get wherein what do you do in certain situations wherein a business analyst is not aware about certain things or something. Then lessons learned and retrospective are good things to look back, and, like, you know, without actually going to someone and understanding things, these will be good repositories to understand and look back when you have certain doubts, like, you know. So these lessons learned and retrospective, it will differ. You need to understand the scenario, the life cycle in the question, and based on that you can answer whether it is lessons learned or retrospective. You need to understand the frequency of how it is conducted, because the frequency and everything, in order to answer, select a correct answer, it will be described in a situation, embedded in a situation, I would say, in the questions which are there in your exam. Stakeholder management and communication management, I would recommend if you could like, you know, go through the PMBOK also simultaneously. It will give you a good detailed view, so it will be helpful for you to understand it in more detail. That will help you crack the scenario based questions, because when you have more understanding you can take right decisions, so that way it helps a lot. Next is requirement elicitation and analysis. So few things which usually people get confused, like what to do first, what to do when, like, you know, these are the things. So, or sometimes there are certain options like when it is done. So these kind of, so this is just to remember, like elicitation, analysis, documentation, and communicating these requirements is an iterative activity. So in these questions, like if you have a option, or mostly like, you know, a business analysis plan will be referred, like, you know, in what to do situations, then it might not be the correct answer. So you need to read the question carefully and then decide, because these are mostly iterative activities and can be done anytime in the project whenever it is required. Then sometimes they confuse you with the like, you know, scope baseline, what is it, or like, you know, there will be multiple options you have to decide and all. So there will be like constraints like, you know, whether it is approved or not, or is it detailed or not. So these kind of some things which you have to catch again in the scenario. Nothing will come directly, but you have to catch these things. Is it detailed? Is it really approved? Will it, only if it is approved then it can be part of. If it doesn't talks about any approve or something, then it is fine, but if it is there, then you have to consider those options. Then we have these product decomposition. So this is ideal hierarchy wherein a deliverable is ideally decomposed into a work breakdown structure, and a work breakdown structure will be decomposed into a work package, and work package are actual estimatable components, and these will be used during the business analysis planning for estimating or like, you know, planning during the business analysis activities in business analysis planning domain. Okay, so there is one more blog which had a very good example given by Saket. So if you are confused between the deliverables and WBS work package, so I'll just take you. It is a very good example there, which will help you remember it for all like lifetime. Yeah. So Saket has explained here. The way I see this is, it is just dividing the big work into small. See, if you want to eat the big watermelon, you cannot eat it without dividing into bite size pieces. So this is what we do. Work package is final decomposed piece which you pick and eat. So watermelon is like a complete deliverable. When you break it up, like it will be into a work breakdown structure, what we say, and then actually into pieces which will go into your mouth will be like actual work package, or you know, which will be actually going into your mouth. So this is something is very commendable about Saket, how he compares things, and like, you know, these kind of analogies help you remember things very easily. Okay, then yeah, so this product backlog thing, which I just talked about in my previous slides, was regarding whether if the scenario question is about agile environment or Scrum or something like that. Only in those situations you should look for product backlog related things, or you know, as your answer. Also in requirement and analysis models are important because there will be again descriptions and like, you know, scenarios, what will be suitable, and based on that you will select models, or there will be models already selected and you will have to decide or, you know, confirm whether is it relevant in this scenario. So these kind of things, or any other suggestions you might have to put across. So these kind of related questions might come here. Traceability and monitoring. Yeah, again, requirement traceability metrics is very important here. Then during this phase, like it is very important that we know what are the baseline requirements. Based on that, any changes if comes in, like, you know, if they are proposed by any stakeholders, it is very important, it is mandatory to like raise a change request for it before doing anything, or in any scenarios wherein they say there is no impact, or you know, anyone might suggest, the key stakeholder might suggest you something. So we do not go by that, and we, based on these processes which are defined in these books, like it is very much recommended to raise a change request in all such situations where requirements are baseline. So questions might try to deviate you from your answer, but it is very important. Like in first step will be to raise a change request, because you never know, any impact might surface out later in the later stage of a project, and it might be very risky. Okay. So So the next step would be impact analysis of the change which is requested. So always the next step would be impact analysis. So it might be confusing whether to do the impact analysis first or raise a change request first. So it is always impact analysis comes as a second step after the change request is already raised. So you need to understand in the questions whether change request is already raised or it is not. Okay. Then the next is approved change request. You need to see in the scenario somewhere whether these change requests are already approved or not. Then what will be the next step in scenarios like in questions like where you have to select the next step. So there only if change requests are already approved, the next step would be to communicate to the stakeholders as per plan, as per business analysis plan. Then there will be qualitative and quantitative analysis related questions. So sometimes we might get confused. Quantitative is always related to the cost, but there is just one exception, which is survey, which is a semi-quantitative method. So like survey also, we usually get qualitative information from the customers. It might be subjective or objective sometimes based on the questions in the surveys and questionnaire. But sometimes the number of customers who have responded to it might act as a quantitative information, the number of customers who are happy, the number of customers who are not happy. So such kind of information which is can be considered as quantitative and can be elicited using these methods. The last domain on solution evaluation, your the solution verification and validation. Now again, this is also important. The sequence, it can be carried out in any sequence based on your business need. So there is no hard and fast rule what will be executed or carried out first. Then you should understand the differences between these two topics very well so that you can answer these scenario based questions. So answers usually mostly depends on the project life cycle. So fair understanding of the project life cycle is very important. Also in certain questions where you get expected versus actual results. So you might get confused between need assessment domain related to concepts and solution evaluation related concepts. So whenever there is actual results can be obtained only at the end of your project during the solution evaluation phase. So in any earlier phases you will never have any actual results. Okay, so it is very important that you should understand these situations, what words are being used, what is the context, what is the project life cycle. So these things will help you first, like the first step will be to understand which domain is it or which stage it is. So based on that you can take decisions and select correct answers. Okay. So all the best, and now you can ask me questions. Also I have posted a link here which is my success story blog, which I have the same content has been posted there but in more detail, just what I talked about. So it is very much same there, you can go through that as well.
Open that link till the time I'm reading the questions which participants have posted to discuss with you. Please open the link which you have posted in your success story video.
Yeah, so these are like few detailed points which I ideally talked during the presentation slides.
Akanksha, I have assigned one question from Shilpi. He's asking that are the questions that come in actual exam on same lines that iZenBridge assessment questions?
Are the questions that come in actual exam on same lines that, yes, definitely. So all type of questions are covered in the assessment, and you will definitely able to correlate those questions in similar scenarios. So like giving as many assessment tests you can give, it will definitely help you for in your like building your endurance and reading these kind of questions fast and training your mind that way.
Just to add, And Akanksha said that take multiple times domain wise. Why? Because when you will take the assessments domain wise multiple times, you will get different set of questions, especially for need assessment, analysis, and planning, because a lot of questions are covered, and these are the important domains. So this is a 50 question set pattern that is included in your study material. So when you take 2-3 times, you will get all questions which are there in your assessment. And as Shilpi asked, the same lines, not exactly the same line. Our objective is to make you ready conceptually for the exam. And if you are practicing, so means you are, and you are analyzing right and wrong answers, so then you are ready conceptually. So the coverage is there uh, based on the exam pattern, but the same questions come, there is no guarantee, because it will not happen, because it's a not good to share the exact exam questions, because it is beyond the it's a violation of PMI code of ethics. So please may, emphasize on your conceptual understanding, and all type of questions are there, and sometimes simple questions are also available, which usually not come in the exam, and with the objective that if you know that, you will be able to relate some situational questions. So I'm assigning another question to you, Akanksha.
Yes.
It's from the Bala Murugan.
PMI requirements management or practice guide. No, I did not refer that. It seems to be a nice book connecting PMI. Okay. What reference book I had referred earlier, like before enrolling with iZenBridge, that was just like I just happened to know what is it and whether is it suitable for me or not. So those were Memory Jogger and I have
Just to
one
add,
second.
Akanksha, requirement practice guide is not needed to cover, because why this book released by the PMI? There is a reason behind it. Uh, we are here to crack the PMI-PBA exam, and there is a direct correlation with the PMBOK, because lot of activities overlap between PMBOK and PBA, and how these activities are related. It is just a description of that, and our content already covered that. So it's nothing will come from the exam from this book. It is just giving a picture of how to relate with the PMBOK and business analysis practice guide. And that thing we have covered in our study material. So it's not required to refer.
Yeah, right, Seema. So that is just like excessive reading if you like to do, and like just it will be just giving you more same kind of things coming up. It will be kind of repetitive. If you plan to read during your exam plan when you are like trying to crack that exam, so you should ideally, you may read it later, it might give you more insights, but I think iZenBridge material is more than sufficient to crack the exam. So that I had just done out of interest, reading few books and all. So that was just like business analyst handbook and memory jogger, software requirements, memory jogger. These were the two books which I had read it quite earlier, like now it's I think almost a year when I read it.
Yes, before joining the iZenBridge course, right?
Correct. Yes, yes.
Yes, and then now what do you think? It's not required to go through.
Yeah. Okay. So next question is, if I'm not missing any questions in between, it is on the ballpark score in these assessment questions, right?
Yeah, I have assigned that. Shilpi is asking, so what's the score we must get out of 50 in assessment where we know we are ready 30, 40 ballpark?
Okay. Yes. So in as we saw in the study plan, there we recommend Eisenbridge recommends that 85% final, like if you're scoring around 80, 85%, you are good to go for the exam. Like, so 30-40 you might score in your fourth or fifth attempt, definitely. Need assessment is a bit difficult. I would recommend, like, at least up to 5 attempts if you can give, it will be good, because up to the fifth attempt I was getting few new questions, so I think it helped me that way, giving more attempts. So there are random questions, and which will give you more exposure to the the questions which are available in the database. So it is good to go up to 5 attempts, and 40 will be a good score. And you will definitely score beyond 40, like in a third, fourth attempts, because certain questions will be repetitive, but there will be definitely, you will get exposure to new questions there.
Okay, Akanksha, thank you very much. And please ask more question if you have. Oh, okay, one more question. How much preparation time you have taken for the exam?
Okay, good question. Ideally, 3 months is more than enough. Like, if on daily basis, if you are studying for 2 hours or something approximately, and some few more hours on weekends, like 5 hours or something, 5 to 6 hours. So I think it is good. I took 6 months approximately, because considering my office schedule, which was usually very busy during weekdays, so I could not really give any time on studying during the weekdays. It was mostly the weekends I used to study, and I happened to take a week's leave before going to the exam, just so that my mind is not deviated. I'm completely into this, and at least I think 2 or 3 days of leave before, if you can take before the exam, then you will be, everything will be fresh in your mind, and you can definitely go and appear for the exam. That will help.
Yeah, okay. And just to add, if you are maintaining the rhythm, then and it will help in the exam, because if you are studying for 6 months, definitely you will score less, because if you are watching the video 3 months back, and then you are not getting the time, and you are reading other domains, so it will not help. Maintaining the rhythm is important, and cracking the exam within 2 months is good than 3 months or 4 months. But yes, sometimes we face work and life challenges, so we have to customize our study plan. That's what I wanted to say. Uh,
Yes.
so we had good discussion about data models and how to crack the exam at the earliest possible time. So I have, time to time, I used to give advices. So I thought to provide you an opportunity to discuss your doubts with the person who has passed the exam. And Akanksha passed the exam on 5th of December only. So friends, we have reached the time box. We are actually beyond, we have actually reached beyond the time box. If you have final round of questions, please ask quickly, and because we have to close the webinar ASAP. Please ask quickly. If you want to discuss one-on-one with Akanksha, I can unmute you also. Please give me a message if someone want to discuss with Akanksha. Shilpi wants to discuss with you. Hi Shilpi.
Yeah, sure.
There's a background noise. Please maintain that. Manage that. Yeah. Now it's fine. What you would like to discuss? Your voice is not coming clearly.
What's your question here?
Shilpi, we didn't get your questions. Shilpi, can you write your question? We are not getting what you are saying. I'm unmuting you. There's a noise. Akanksha, I'm providing his question.
Yes. So last 3 weeks, yeah. So last 3 weeks we should practice questions if we have already seen videos and gone through the. Yeah. So yes, practices questions and any topics which you have doubts. So you should go through that. And forum reviewing forum topics threads will be a very good revision.
Yes. And this is not a question. This is something which is about you. Bala Morgan's saying thanks to bring you in the session, and he's saying that it was useful. Okay, so
Thanks a lot.
okay, so please ask quickly because it's already 40 minutes. We have met the time late. Thanks, friends, for joining this clarification session, and a big thanks to Akanksha for sharing her success story. And Akanksha, I recommend you to post these slides in your success story area, and I will
Yes.
provide the recording of this clarification session to all participants. And thanks again for the joining in, and special thanks to Akanksha because I think whatever you have discussed, it will give a good insight to future test takers. Thanks everyone. I'm ending the webinar.
Thanks, Seema, for giving this opportunity.
Yeah. Thanks to you that you have taken so much time for our participants who are looking to crack the certificate ASAP.
Yes, it was a good opportunity to have this live discussion, and it gives you good exposure. Like, it's really good. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Stefano.